So finally we'll get on to the important dimension box in the Annotate tab. So just like dimensioning sketches, we've got the general dimension. If we just hit D or click that, we can pull off diameters, just lengths, piece of cake really. Something you should already be used to, dimensioning sketches. So that's how you do all that. And remember, make sure I don't duplicate dimensions. But some other tools exist that we can use. So baseline dimensioning, that's not really useful here, but in other drawings you might find that useful. That measures a set of objects from a certain baseline. So if we set this as our baseline, then we can measure the distance to this line, this line, this line, and this line, for example. Right click, continue, and there we've got our baseline measurement. So it measures all those distances from that baseline. So right click, create, and there we go. We've got all those dimensions created with ease. This is not too useful in this sort of drawing, but I guess for some, I'll try and do an example where it is useful. Now we've got ordinate dimensioning. So ordinate, you sort of pick your origin and then you just measure distances from that. So if we set this as our origin, we just place our origin there, and we can ordinate dimension this, 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 and this again. Right click, continue. There we go, we've got our ordinate dimensions. This just measures the distance from the origin to those points that I picked. So done. Now we can make an ordinate set. So this is sort of, it's not like a global origin. This is more of a group. So if we, let's say we'll pick this piece as our origin, and then we'll pick these guys as dimensions. Right click, continue. You see that is dimension is 0 because it's the origin. Right click, create, and then we're 0.2 this way, 0.35 this way, 0.37 this way. So ordinate group, ordinate set is useful if you want not a global origin but sort of local origin for this group. But ordinate dimensioning is good if you have one global origin and you just measure everything off of that point. Now we've also got another feature, the retrieve dimension feature. So we hit retrieve, we select the view that we want to retrieve dimensions from, so we'll click that, and then select view. Now if we click select dimensions, it measures off all the dimensions that are relevant in that part. So we could select the dimensions that we want to keep. Let's say we want to keep just those 3, hit apply, and I guess it's still thinking. Maybe we hit cancel. Yeah, alright, so it keeps all those dimensions that I specified. So this is a good way if you want to just quickly get all the dimensions on every view. So we could retrieve from here, retrieve views, select dimensions, and then it gives us really a majority of the relevant dimensions in that view. We could also do it by feature. So we could select feature. If we want to select sort of this extrusion here, it'll just provide the dimensions for that extrusion. Also, select parts. That's for when we're dimensioning an assembly. And let's say this bolt is part of my bike, for example. If I had the bike here, and I wanted to retrieve all dimensions for the bolt, I could say select parts and then click the bolt, and that would retrieve all dimensions for it. But you're not going to really use this often because it places the dimensions sort of on the drawing, on the solids. It's not very useful. It just makes everything cluttered, and I find it's actually easier just to dimension everything from scratch yourself. This view is really redundant. We don't need that because we've already got a front view and it's symmetrical. So anyways, just how I would dimension this quickly. I'd make sure I don't repeat any dimensions. You just label each feature on the side where it's most descriptive. So for example, we'll do the height here. So the total height, then we'll get maybe this guy, and then we can do a chamfer detail. So feature notes. In our feature notes, we've got holes and thread and chamfer, which we'll use here. So if we hit chamfer detail, we can pick that chamfer. Oops. Actually, I didn't make that as a chamfer. We'll come back to that. So hole and thread. We'll pick that thread, and we'll pull off a spec. So it's a M10 by 1 6G thread. So you see it's labeled that nicely there. So M10 is just 10 millimeter. It's a metric system here. So hole and thread, if you just pick that, it will give you a nice leader description of the hole or the thread. So we'll need some more dimensions. So maybe we'll dimension this up here, that diameter, and then this diameter. And we'll definitely need to dimension this. We'll need an aligned dimension there. So dimension. So we can place the dimension, and then we can drag it out. Same with these guys. We can use these grips to move them around. Just basically format them so that they look nice. Everything's aligned. It's always nice to have the decimal places aligned. Yeah, so just go about that, labeling everything, and that's basically dimensioning. If I think of anything that I missed, I'll make another follow-up video, but I think that's pretty much it. Next we'll go over the table stuff. We can make part lists, hole specs, etc.